Okay, so thank you very much for coming. Thank you to everyone who can make the live and to everyone who is watching the recording. That sometimes is even harder, I think, to actually find the time to do that. People who are here for the live, please feel free to stop me and ask questions if anything's confusing, unclear, if I'm going too fast, anything you didn't understand. Like please err on the side of asking too many questions, because you're filling in also for the people who can't make the live and may have questions of their own. So I know some people are kind of new to this field or this world. So just for a little bit of background, I studied Chinese medicine with Master Roni Sapil, who is a student of, I'm not going to go through the whole history, but he's a student of a specific school of Chinese medicine, which is called, roughly translated into English, the heavenly stems and the earthly branches. And the basis of the system is the understanding that the energetic cycles that the world goes through influence us, our bodies, our minds, our psychology, our development, because we see people as holistic beings. And so anything that affects one aspect of a human being will affect all of the others. And when we look at the way someone reacts to the world around them, one of the things we take into account is the moment when they were born, when they took their first breath, when they were first exposed to the world. And that kind of dictates how they see the world and how they react to things in the future. Sorry about that. So if at the moment that I was born, I saw a world that was full of this spring-like energy, it's full of potential, it's full of creativity, then I might end up being someone who looks around for opportunities, and I'm always looking to grow and to develop and to try new things. If I was born into a world, whatever the actual season, because there are larger cycles of energy and there are smaller cycles of energy. So there's year-long cycles, there's month-long cycles, there's day-long cycles. But if I was born into a year when the overwhelming energy was a coming into winter energy, then I will end up being someone who's more careful about maybe preserving resources, being very careful with how I behave, what I do, what I spend, what I discard, because I'm going to be prepared for a world that's a little more survival based. And in this system, each person has a number of different energies that influence them. So I often get asked, so does everyone who's born in the same year have the same energy and the same personality? The answer is no. Not just because that's obviously wrong, but because the energetic influence is only one aspect that affects how a person develops. So there's nature versus nurture, and this kind of falls in between. So in the theory that I was taught, when a person is born, the soul enters the body. The soul is connected to the universal spirit. It enters a specific body made up of a specific DNA, and a person, an individual, their personality, their spirit is like a prism that the universal spirit shines through. And so each spirit will show a different configuration of a rainbow, depending on which person embodies it. And then on top of all that, you also have this way that a person reacts to the world based on their initial interaction with it. And then you have all of the nurture, like how was your parenting? How was your childhood? What nutrition did you get? And so everyone grows up being very, very different, which is great. It's very important that we all be different, because we need so many different kinds of people to build up a society that we can all contribute to, that we can all take from, and that we can make something that's bigger than all of us and strong enough to get us through life in this complicated universe. So there's many, many different energies that we look at in this system. There's heavenly energies, there's earthly energies. I don't want to go into complicated theories. I mean, I really do. I love doing that. But I don't want to do that today because I really want to give you all something that's very practical and that you can just go out and experiment, see if this works, you know, and really hopefully make a difference in the lives of people around you. And so I'm going to be giving you a lot of stated facts without providing the proof for them. There is a whole complicated theory behind it. Anyone who wants to know more is welcome to ask in the Facebook group, to email me, whatever. I know that when I look at when I read astrology books or read things about people's personality and how they react, I personally don't like just being given like, you know, a rat is curious and intelligent and skeptical. You know, I want to know why, but I am going to kind of give you that just list of attributes because the why is like a year-long course in and of itself. But you should know that there is a why behind it. What we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be talking, well, in this course, we're going to be talking about the animals. The zodiac animals represent how humans interact with the world around us, with other people, with our homes, with our jobs, with material possessions. There's a whole completely other branch of the school that involves how humans interact with what's called the heavenly energies. And that's more about, you know, what is my purpose in life? What was I put here to do? But the zodiac animals, which are what most people are familiar with, are both very practical in a day-to-day sense. And I think a much easier metaphor for people to grasp who grew up in a Western culture. And, you know, even if we have slightly different ideas of what a rat represents or what a pig represents than the ancient Chinese did, it's much closer to something that we're familiar with than some of the other metaphors that are used. And I really think that this concept of the supporting energy that we're going to be discussing is maybe the most useful you know, one-off tip that I can give anyone who works with people or who has kids or has just gone through COVID, because it's going to describe what sort of support we need from the environment around us in order to be healthy and in order to be in balance. So I'm just going to pause and ask, are there any questions after I talk for like 10 minutes straight? Okay. Okay, great. So what we're going to be talking about now are the zodiac animals in general, and today specifically the rat, where each animal is a metaphor. It's not like there's 12 special animals that that embody aspects of the universe. There's a much more complicated combination of energies underneath that people spent several thousand years trying to come up with the right metaphor for. So if we say someone's a rooster, someone's a rat, on the one hand, it doesn't mean they're actually a rooster or a rat or directly related to roosters or rats, or that they embody a rooster spirit or a rat spirit. But we can also, like if we say someone is a rooster and therefore they're going to be very concerned about their families because roosters lead a flock, we can make these kind of, we can look at the relationship between the specific animal we're discussing and the world around it as a metaphor for the human they represent, because people spent like literally 1,000 years trying to come up with the perfect metaphor, and then another 1,000 years seeing that it really did work in order to describe what we want to describe. So it's not that we say someone's a rat and they're like a deep mystical connection to rats. But on the other hand, we can say someone's a rat and rats do X, therefore this person might do X. Because if we saw that there was a discrepancy between actual rat behavior as experienced by ancient Chinese farmers and the way that people who were born in the year of the rat behave, there would be a lot of literature about it, because one of the things that makes the Chinese system so different from all the other systems is they started writing stuff down a lot earlier. And they, up until, like, sadly, the communist revolution, didn't tend to burn books. And so we have everyone's commentaries on everyone else's books going back literally over 1,000 years. So when we are talking about the rat and people who are born in the year of the rat, we're looking at people who, what they embody, what they do in the world is, or how they interact with the world around them, is through the energy, which is described as spring energy or wood energy or tree energy or growth energy. The rat, it comes at the beginning of the cycle of energy, and it's all about growing and developing and nurturing new growth. And so people who are born in the year of the rat are people who, on the one hand, are very into trying new things, beginning things, nurturing things, supporting things. They're very curious. They want to know what's new. They always want to hear the gossip. They want to really help other people try new things, develop new things. So their interaction with the world around them is, on the one hand, very much based on this idea of newness, of spring, of growth. But there's a different energy that describes how they do things in their relationships. And that is the energy of water, or of winter, or of the subconscious and the instinctive or intuitive connection to oneself and to your connection to the world around you. So water absorbs, water remembers, water listens, water, it nourishes growth, but it has to be in a controlled way. Too much water will wash a new growth away. And so when we say that the way a rat interacts with the people around them is, it's all about doing new things, encouraging growth, bringing this spring energy into the world, they do that through a connection to their deeper intuition and their deeper instincts. So they, the expression that you see of this combination of energies might be they always want to hear all the gossip. They always need to know what's happening, but that comes from a place of really needing to absorb all of the information that they can in order to process it and see where they fit in, what's going on, how are all the players lined up on the board, so that they can then help develop the best parts of what might come out of this situation. So rats are very helpful people to have around when you're trying to develop something, trying to start a new project, trying to work on some sort of creative activity, because they can bring in that combination of energies. And then each person, each type of animal, each type of person, each person has the energies that they have to give. So for the rat, that's that spring energy and that deeper connection to the winter energy. He has to be able to share those with people. A rat has to be able to do new things, to encourage people, to connect to information. Otherwise, they get frustrated, they get sad, they get depressed, their life is hard, because I think probably we've all experienced the, wanting to do something, wanting to help, wanting to contribute and not being able to. And so there's that drive of what I need to give, but each person also has something that they need to get from the people around them and from their environment in order to be healthy and in order to be in balance, which is something that I think we often have a harder time with. I know a lot of people I talk to are very clear on how much they want to give, what they want to give, how they can help the people around them. And when it comes to what they need to get from the environment, or whether they need anything at all, whether they need anyone's help or they can just be completely independent, that's harder. And even people who have accepted that they need help from outside of themselves might not have an easy time describing what they need. So you might have someone who's like, okay, I've snapped, I get it, I need help, I can't keep doing it all on my own. And now, on top of being completely overwhelmed, I'm trying to work out like what will actually help me. And then I have to go find someone, and then I have to ask for it. And it's just, for a lot of people that I see, it's much harder to get to a place where you can receive the support you need from the outside than to find an outlet for what you want to give. And so one of the things that's been really, really helpful for me with my patients, in my relationships, definitely when coaching, is just to have this kind of little sneak peek at what kind of energy is going to help bring each person back into balance. It won't fix everything, because we all have many different needs. And if I say, some people need community, and some people need to be listened to, and some people need to be motivated, and some people need to be held accountable. Obviously, we all need all of those things, but it's kind of a question on what you're going to get the best return on your investment of time and effort. It's like if I have a patient who comes in with multiple vitamin deficiencies, but one of the things that she's missing is going to impact her ability to absorb vitamins, then we're going to start with giving her that one, because all of the others aren't necessarily going to help if she can't receive them, if she can't be in a place of accepting energy into herself. And so it's really helpful to know what the supporting energy for someone is and how you can get that energy to them in various different ways. I find it very beneficial, especially with patients or clients who are, say, working mothers who have a lot on their plate, and they have 1 hour to themselves a week where that's like their time. They can do whatever they want, and they don't know, should they go to a yoga class? Should they go to therapy? Should they go running? Should they go to the beach? Should they go out with friends? Should they, should they meditate? Should they exercise? And so when we can see like which sort of energy we can put in that, we can fill that hour with in order to get them the most bang for their buck, they'll often be able to find that once they're more balanced, once they're calmer, once they're more energized, they can find another hour in the week to maybe do something else in. And so just before I get to what the supporting energy of the rat is, I want to describe briefly how the different ways that energies can be expressed. So in the Chinese system, we talk about the 5 energies or the 6 energies, or there's all sorts of different ways of splitting it up, but there's the various wood and earth and fire. And people often ask me, how can I strengthen my wood energy? How can I strengthen my fire energy? And you can work with each type of energy in literally innumerable ways, because everything can be broken down into energy. And so, for example, someone texted me and asked, how can I strengthen my earth energy? It was a friend of mine. It wasn't someone who knew me, so I felt safe doing this. And I was like, well, you could go to therapy. You could eat a lot of sweet potatoes. You could fix your relationship with your mom. You could clean your house. All different things that will that have this similar energetic flavor. And the best metaphor I've been able to come up with is it's like playing the same note on different instruments. So if a person is a piano, and we say like the C on the piano is a person's earth energy, then if I take a violin and say a violin represents food, and I play a C on the violin, then that's going to be healthy root vegetables that are very nourishing and have a lot of calories, but aren't heavy on the digestion. If I play that note on the violin, it will vibrate, will cause the C string at the middle C string on the piano to vibrate. And so we can play that note in innumerable ways, because we can find everything, any area of life we look at, we can break up into the different energies and then see which ones will correspond to what we want to produce in the person. And so moving on specifically to the rat, the supporting energy of the rat, and I'm suddenly drawing a complete blank, like I know this so well. I memorized this 12 years ago, but I'm just double checking. The supporting energy of the rat is, it's what's called the hearth fire, the earthly fire, the comforting fire. It's not lightning coming down from the sky. It's fire in a hearth, in a stove, in a campfire. That is the elemental expression of this energy. When we look at it in terms of relationships, it's having connections to family or people who are very close to you. It's your friends, it's your family. It's, having your grandma take care of you. Is it possible? Malky, you muted me? And then you unmuted me? You're mute, so I can't. Sorry, everyone. Okay, sorry. Is there noise in the background here that's bothering people? Oh, sorry. I think there's a kid crying outside my window. Should I go close the window? Okay, I'll be right back. Sorry, everyone.
Sorry about that. I figured that I missed somebody was that it couldn't have been you. So I figured somebody else wasn't
Sorry.
muted, and
No, there's like a
looked
kid
like
out there
everybody was.
just screaming, but I was focused on talking, and so I completely tuned it out.
Probably for the best. Okay, here we go.
Okay, sorry about that, everyone. Okay, so yes, rats and what they need. So what rats need in order to be in balance, in order to be able to be their best self, is to get this hearth fire energy from the environment around them, which is usually people, but you can also set up your home to embody the energy that you need. If you have a job that supports, or a therapist who can give you the energy, that also works. I know, sadly, a lot of people who don't really have supportive families and had trouble staying in touch with friends during COVID. And sometimes if you know what you need and you can just go and pay someone to give it to you, then that's just the best way to get it. But okay, other ways that this energy can be expressed are through things that connect people and help them communicate and feel like part of a tribe. And so it could be things like having a weekly poker night. It could be things like doing a class together with friends, or a stitch and bitch. Anything that involves connection and communication, talking and listening, sharing things with people, and connecting to people. Obviously, things like cooking and baking together, where you have actual fire. In terms of foods, it could be things that are a little bit spicy, but still kind of, but not like a curry, but like ginger cookies or hot cider, like spicy cider, something that adds that little feeling of warmth that really makes you, you eat it and you drink it and you feel like you're warming up inside, not like you're burning, but like you're warm. In terms of types of exercise, it could be anything that, again, involves that connection and communication. So some sort of folk dancing where you have to learn different steps and coordinate them with other people. So there's really innumerable ways that you can find this energy in the world. And there's all sorts of different ways that people can get that energy in their lives. But in order for it to really be helpful, in order to strengthen, in order to balance someone, as the supporting energy, it needs to be something that someone outside does for them or gives to them. So, if a rat needs this communication, this connection, this sitting around a campfire and chatting energy, and so they go out and they set up a weekly meeting where everyone comes to their house and they serve everyone food and they're running around and taking care of everyone. That's not going to be supplying the energy that they need, even if they're there, they're enjoying it. As long as they're responsible for it, it's like as long as they're like releasing energy into the universe, they're not in the place of receiving, which is one of the reasons that the whole concept of supporting energy is so important and also so hard, because, okay, I've worked out what I need, or I know what someone, if it's me, I've worked out what I need, then how do I get it without like me being the one who has to do it? And that's where it's very helpful to either understand what you need and be able to communicate it, or maybe better for society if we all understand what everyone else needs and are able to offer it, even without them having to come and ask, especially, and then having to explain exactly what it is. So I find that this is very, very helpful for people who are trying to make a change. They want to change a habit, if they want to start to do something new. If you can bring in the supporting energy and make it part of what you're part of what you're aspiring to, then you'll be much more likely to follow through with it. It's like, I don't know, it's like putting sugar in medicine. If every time you take medicine, you get a dose of sugar, you're much more likely to keep taking the medicine. If every time you go to your exercise class, you get this boost of energy, and that makes you feel like, oh, I don't know why, but every time I go to my folk dancing class, I'm energized and I feel more serene afterwards. I'm much more likely to keep going than if I try getting up early in the morning to go running all by myself. And I don't, and being all by myself is not what energizes me. So if you want to start, I'm just sticking with this example. If you want to start an exercise habit, if you find something that has built into it the energy that's going to strengthen and energize you, you're way more likely to follow through. If you want to take a class and you have the opportunity to do like one on Zoom or one in person, or one, by what do you call it? Writing letter, like you read the emails and then you send your homework in. I've completely blanked on how we say that in English. Correspondence. If you want to take a correspondence course, if you know that what you really need is human connection, then you might want to take the class that's live and in person, even if it means you actually have to like take more time because you need to get dressed, you need to leave the house, and then you're going to have to come home, because that aspect of human connection will energize you. You'll be way more likely to follow through and continue through to the end of the course. So Malky, do you have a question? You're looking like, sorry, everyone.
Okay, yeah. I'm just wondering, like, it just seems to me, okay, so this is when you're talking about astrology, this is everyone's question, but isn't this everybody, right?
Yes. So you would think.
What makes a rat, what makes it like, this feels like it resonates, like it would resonate for all of the, all of the 12 animals. What makes a rat absolutely unique here?
Absolutely. Okay, so it's possible one of the reasons it's resonating for you is because you have a very similar supporting energy. I happen to know Malky's astrology chart. But some people, so like I said, everyone needs everything. We all need community and communication. And it's possible that after COVID, we all need community communication more than usual. But there's some people for whom this isn't the thing they need most in order to come back into balance. Some people will need to be listened to, not to have the conversation of like sharing with people, but like I need someone who's going to sit and just be present, like be present at me, and let me share my energy and just get everything out, and not have it be like a campfire chat of just sharing things in general. Some people need honesty and clarity, and that's their deepest need. And some people need to be nurtured. Like some people's deepest need is to feel like, someone's going to wrap them in a blanket and make sure they get chicken soup. And so, yeah, we all need all of these things. I see people nodding. We all need all of these things. And the supporting energy is just, like I said, it's like the vitamin that if you get it, lets you absorb all the other energies. It helps you express, it helps you like share what you need to share the energy that you're here to share with others, and to receive what you need to receive from others. Okay. And I'll just again, because I know your astrology chart, so I'm going to use you as an example. So in your case, you have nearly the same energetic needs as the rat, but what you need is the heavenly fire, not the earthly fire. And so you need to feel like you're connected to something larger than yourself. So there's a lot of overlap with the rat that needs the tribalism, but you need to be connected to something bigger than the tribe. You need like, a goal or an aim that's going to benefit all of humanity, or a more religious, connection to something greater than yourself. The rat needs the tribe, and you need like something bigger. You need to feel like really part of a larger thing. And so a lot of similar things could work for you, like the folk dancing could work. If you're, if you want to exercise, then feeling like you're part of like one large, collective that's all striving for the same goal, that could work for you as well as it could for the rat. If you connected to folk dancing as like a goal that you wanted to accomplish, like making the pretty patterns works for you as a higher goal. So, any other questions?
I actually have a question. How do you embody this energy into your home? My son just moved into a new apartment, and I'd love to get him something. So I'm just curious. Okay,
brilliant. So first of all, you should definitely talk to Kathy, who is an interior designer who works with Feng Shui. I happen to know. But in the home, obviously, you probably can't install a fireplace. That's like the big one. Maybe something with candles.
He loves candles, actually. I always buy him candles.
Okay, so candles, a bread machine. Or
I will say too, out of my 3 sons, he's the one that I always cooked and baked with. Like he loved cooking and baking. So I'm really seeing him in everything you're saying.
Oh, that's lovely. So yeah, I mean, I can think of so many things. I'm a minimalist. I have like nothing in my home. And so in terms of interior decor, I might not be the best person to ask, but you could have pictures that are warm and lush. Like probably you wouldn't get a picture of a campfire, but maybe a picture of like a tropical beach that has that feeling, or pictures of family. Especially like everyone sitting together, not like a line of like mom, dad, not like school photos, but like a family reunion photo of everyone together. A spice rack with like a bunch of spices if he likes to cook. That would like
love spices.
Bring in a little bit of fire.
Perfect. So, great idea. Thank you.
And then you have the colors like red and orange too, that you could incorporate with, I don't know, just decor like pillows or things like that.
That's so funny, because his whole bedroom he redid in like rust and cream, and it's all like shades of fire. And I just bought him a pillow, like a rust and cream pillow. It's so funny.
That's wonderful.
Funny, it's like
that's great. And I
resonating.
That's great. And yeah, the other thing that came to mind was like maybe a blanket, something that's actually warm. Should also
Okay.
be in terms of the home.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. And obviously, a puppy or a kitten, but those aren't good surprise gifts.
New York City, I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna have to walk it. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Hi, Fiona. I'd say any other questions? Fiona has no idea what we're talking about at this point, but I'll catch you up later. Okay, any other questions? Okay, great. So what I expect is going to happen is you're all going to go off and find out that there's people in your life who are rats that you never knew were rats. And you're going to come back next week and be like, I don't know, this doesn't seem right about him. And I kind of saw that, but I didn't see this other thing. And so I figured that the 10 minutes at the beginning that I spent just giving you a general background on the astrology system I use this time, we will devote next time to questions about rats and move on from there. So does anyone have any more general questions before we, yeah, Fiona, if you want to stick around afterwards, I'll give you a brief summary, but the replay will be, yeah, you'll get the replay soon.
Hi, I had a question. You were talking about, I guess, and I've heard it in other systems as being on the cusp. So it's like that 2-week period?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm wondering, I'm like, I guess about a month.
You're in December.
I'm the end of December, last day before January.
Yeah, so
and a pig.
Yeah, so
which would make me blending with a rat if.
No, you're safe because Chinese New Year is always after January 20th.
Gotcha.
Chinese New Year is the first new moon from January 21st on. And so between January 21st and February 20th, you have to like Google what date was Chinese New Year in 1946. But anything before January, like up to January 20th, it belongs to the previous year. After February 20th, it's the next year. And then there's that 1 month where you have to Google and see where Chinese New Year came out. And then the 2 weeks between after Chinese New Year, that's like the cusp area, I guess. I've heard on the cusp. I know nothing about Western astrology, so I don't know if that's actually what it means.
Yeah, I don't know what it means either. I know I've just heard the phrase,
So the Chinese New Year moves about like January 30 or December 31st.
Yeah, so, yeah, Chinese New Year will always be on the new moon.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lunisolar system. It's actually just like the Hebrew calendar. The Chinese New Year will always be on the first day of the Hebrew month of Adar. And even the leap years line up. So they just, the months are always in sync. But Chinese New Year will always be on the new moon. And then that time period, which might be on the cusp, is until the full moon after Chinese New Year. So, and Google, excuse me, Google knows all the dates. Anyone's birthday, you can just like anyone born in January, February, you can just ask Google what was Chinese New Year next year, and it knows. It's, I actually have a little chart somewhere, but I honestly use Google more often. Oh, I think we lost Diana, and here she comes. All right, any other questions? Okay, well, my goal was 45 minutes. I'm proud. I wanted to get you helpful information in a reasonable amount of time. I hope you found this useful. And like I said, I'm going to be sharing the recording. So if you want to go back and check anything, you have that. Feel free to ask me questions. I opened a Facebook group just for people to ask questions in, so that, if other people, people can learn from each other's questions and any answers there are. And you should also feel free to post there, you want to share anything you found out about your stepdaughter, your son, or anyone who turns out to be a rat in your life, in your surroundings and in your life. And I will probably post there when I have like interesting ideas about deeper theory that I don't want to bore everyone with during the actual live sessions. So
Thank you.
thank you very
That was
much for
great.
coming.
Thanks.
Thank
It's great.
you.
Thank you. Thank you all for taking the time. Thank you anyone who watched the recording and made it this far. I am very impressed with you. I think I successfully watched nearly half the recordings I've signed up for over the past year, which is not bad. Like I signed up for a lot of recordings. All right, I'm going to stop the recording at this point.